Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. MALLOR GRODNER Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. School starts in a week and a half for Monroe County students. But with COVID-19 cases continuing to increase, should the district rethink its reopening plan?
A pause will give time to monitor the ongoing rise of COVID cases in Monroe County in Indiana, and will also give more time for planning how we return to school.
Coming up, the tough situation facing teachers, parents, and school administrators. Some scientists say coronavirus levels in wastewater is a leading indicator of an outbreak. Ahead, we go to Carmel to see how tests are being used to predict potential virus hotspots.
The virus is here now. It's time to try.
Indiana Democrats are pushing for a special session to address a number of issues, including how to manage the federal CARES Act money the state receives. Coming up, our statehouse reporter joins us to go through the Dems' concerns and how the governor has responded to the idea. These stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. The percentage of COVID-19 tests coming back positive is up significantly this week. The rate of tests that were coming back positive was in the 4% range at the beginning of the month. It's nearly double that now. The state is now reporting about 60,000 positive cases and about 2,700 deaths. And this week, the state recorded its highest single-day increase in positive cases at more than 1,000.
Indiana has come a long way since our first case in March, but the challenges remain. This pandemic is far from over, and we have more work to do.
Weaver says the state is following 4 guiding principles in deciding when to reopen the state. Those include track the number of people who are hospitalized, maintain the capacity to treat a surge of patients, have the ability to test all Hoosiers who have COVID symptoms, and be able to provide contact tracing for all cases. A statewide mandatory mask order takes effect Monday. It applies to all indoor and outdoor locations where socially distancing can't be maintained. The order also requires school staff, teachers, and students in grades 3 and above to wear masks. With positive cases increasing, the governor says the mask order is necessary to keep the state from having to reimpose previous COVID-19 restrictions. As Ethan Burks reports, cities and counties had been implementing their own mask rules in the absence of a statewide order.
Kelly Clark and Nola Hartman are the co-founders of Bloomington Mask Drive, a volunteer program of about 350 people that have distributed more than 25,000 masks to the community during the pandemic. They believe their role is even more important now that Monroe County has a mask mandate.
Universal mask wearing is our only vaccine. And like a vaccine, it only works if everybody gets on board and does it.
Program volunteers help by sewing masks at home, and then Clark and her team sort and package the masks for distribution.
Almost anybody who has a sewing machine has sort of stepped forward at some point, it seems like, and said, I could make some masks.
Clark says they're expecting an increase in demand with the new requirement. Along with the mask mandate, the hundreds of bars and restaurants downtown and throughout Bloomington will be limited to 10 people per table, as well as a 100-person limit indoors and 150 people allowed outdoors. The county says the added public gathering rules will go into effect on Friday, July 31st. But Mayor John Hamilton issued an executive order earlier this week for the city to implement these rules sooner, starting this weekend.
So the evidence that we've seen from around the country that a difference of a week can make a real difference in the curve. So I did want to accelerate them.
As far as the state's mask mandate, Governor Eric Holcomb says it will begin on Monday.
We don't want to dial it back or put it in reverse, or as some are, shutting down again. face coverings can and will help us blunt this increase.
One way Bloomington Mask Drive will help people get access to free masks is by setting up self-serve community stations. These stations will be able to hold up to 100 masks at a time, and the goal is to have them in public places throughout the city.
I'd love to see some go out into more distant county locations if we get some partners out there. It just depends on how many people want them and how many people are willing to build them for us.
Clark says she hopes every person in the community will live close enough to one of these stations so that they know they can always grab a mask when they need to. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Ethan Burks.
The state's attorney general says the governor doesn't have the authority to mandate masks or attach a criminal penalty if someone doesn't abide by the new rules. In an opinion, Curtis Hill wrote that the governor would have to call a special session to impose such a mandate. Legislative Democrats issued calls for a special session this week for different reasons. The legislature adjourned its regular season in March and isn't scheduled back until January. Our State House reporter Brandon Smith joins us now from Indianapolis with more. Brandon, let's just start out with this mask order. It's scheduled to take effect on Monday. Like I said, the Attorney General says it can't be enforced. What's going on here?
Well, there was a non-binding opinion from the Attorney General, which doesn't have any force of law. It was done after several Senate Republicans complained to the Attorney General about the order and their concerns about it. We just saw, literally a few minutes before we started taping this show today, we just saw finally the actual executive order from the governor, and he has reversed course slightly. The mask mandate is still in place, but there is now no longer any enforcement penalty associated with it. With all of the executive orders that the governor has issued during the pandemic, there is, under state law, a Class B misdemeanor if you violate those orders, and that's been in those orders so far. Now he's saying enforcement of the mask mandate is solely the responsibility of state and local health departments and solely via education. So this is a mask mandate with absolutely zero teeth.
We also heard the AG say the governor needs to call a special session. What would that accomplish?
Well, the AG's opinion is that the governor can't do this under the broad emergency powers in state law, and so in order to impose a mask mandate at all, he would need the legislature to pass a bill in order to do that. It's unlikely that that will happen because now you have Senate leadership, at least, for instance, Republican leadership, supporting the governor's executive order around a mask mandate because it doesn't include that enforcement penalty.
You know, other states have similar mask mandates. I know in Kentucky, the AG has also challenged the governor's mask order. Are you hearing anything about this having to go to the courts at some level, at some point, or no?
It would have been possible if there had been that enforcement penalty, but I think the fact that Holcomb has so neutered the order now that we've actually seen what the order actually looks like, I'm not sure that we'll see a legal battle play out over this. It's absolutely possible. Someone could bring it, anyone in the state could bring it to state court, and we'll see if that happens. But now that there's no longer any sort of penalty associated with it, it's a lot less likely.
Switching gears, Dems are also calling for a special session. That was before the governor's mask mandate was on the table. What do they want in a special session?
Yeah, masks wasn't on their agenda. They want three things. One, they want to expand vote by mail to any Hoosier who wants to cast a ballot that way for November. So far, Republicans and the governor have been resistant to that. They want to have more say-so over how the federal COVID relief dollars are spent. So far, that's solely being run through the governor's office. And then they want a limited police reform agenda, a ban on chokeholds, no-knock warrants, and racial profiling. All of that is unlikely to happen, or at least in a special session, because Republican legislative leaders have said that there's no reason to do that.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Well, after months of pressure from trade groups amid media organizations, Indiana joined all its neighboring states this week and provided facility-level data for COVID-19 in long-term care facilities. However, the release underscores the difficulty that public health officials have in gathering reliable data. Nearly 1 in 5 facilities have not submitted complete data to the state health department. Dr. Dan Rusiniak is the chief medical officer for the State Family and Social Services Administration. He says the state will continue to work with the facilities not reporting data.
We're pushing for 100% of facilities to submit their data before the release of the public dashboard. and we'll continue to work with them to help them do so. This is a mandate, and as such, they are required to do so or will face potential penalties.
Now, this release provides the first look at infections among nursing home staff. More than 2,500 staff members have been infected with COVID-19. 12 have died. Now, more than 5,800 residents in long-term care facilities have been infected with COVID-19. More than 2,500 have died. Well, with less than 2 weeks before the start of school, Monroe County Community School Corporation leaders are starting to rethink things. With coronavirus cases surging across the state, parents, teachers, even some board members are contemplating changes to the reopening plan. Mitch Legan reports.
After an unceremonious end to last school year, Monroe County Community Schools are less than 2 weeks away from bringing kids back to the classroom. But parents and teachers are concerned that the reopening plan, which was drafted last month, doesn't reflect the current surge in COVID-19 cases.
I guess my concerns really have to do with the way, one, that the ground is shifting under our feet right now. Just nationally, we're seeing numbers rise in Texas and Florida and Arizona, and I really worry that we're just a couple weeks behind in Indiana. I don't see that we have done things in our state differently.
Many MCCSC parents and teachers feel the same as Robinson. Nearly 2,000 people have signed a petition asking the school corporation to revise its reentry plan. That led board member Brandon Schur to propose 3 separate changes to the plan at the school board special meeting this week. They included delaying the start of school, starting the school year online only, or coming up with a completely new reentry plan.
Mayor Bloomington signed an executive order yesterday, 20-02, limiting all commercial events to 100 people inside. A pause will give time to monitor the ongoing rise of COVID cases in Monroe County in Indiana, and will also give more time for planning how we return to school.
But the school board moved to table the proposals until next week in hopes of hearing the results from a survey of MCCSC teachers who were instrumental in drawing up the original plans.
But I want it blatantly understood that, yes, there is a part of the teacher voice that we've not been able to get forward in the last week and a half, okay? And I'm gonna tell you that, absolutely. And that's what we've been doing. We're working on getting that together to be able to get that and bring it forward.
Farmer says if the board decides to approve any of the changes next week without conferring with the teachers union, it could find itself in a tricky legal situation.
If the board unilaterally makes a change in that process without going through discussion, that's called an unfair labor practice. Okay, and I will exercise my right, not mine, I'm going to say MCEA's right, to have that discussion.
The board did approve an addendum to the reopening plan that allows high school students to physically go to school 5 days a week, which they said was at the request of many parents. Originally, high schoolers could choose between an online-only schedule or hybrid schedule, where they'd be in school alternating days. Schur says he's concerned the 5-day week would impact the decisions of families who chose the school corporation's hybrid plan because it meant fewer students would be in school.
We won't really have a hybrid method anymore in some degree because those 2 to 3 days that kids are there, they'll be there with a whole number of kids that weren't supposed to be there in the first place.
Robinson is one of the parents who preferred the hybrid method, but says now, with a 5-day option on the table, it's going to be hard not to let her daughter go.
If it's 5 days a week, my daughter will definitely want to be there 5 days a week. As a parent, I want her to be in hybrid, but once you have most people attending 5 days, then that the benefits of the hybrid, keeping kids with smaller groups, that seems to be gone.
Bloomington South principal Mark Fletcher says nearly 1,200 of 1,700 South students responded to a survey on the 5-day week, and about 60% were interested. Of the remaining 40%, half favored the hybrid schedule and the other half preferred online only. Fletcher says if those averages hold, Bloomington South should be able to maintain proper distancing. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Mitch Legan.
Several Indiana schools have adjusted their reopening plans because of the spike in cases. The state's largest school district, Indianapolis Public Schools, pushed back its start date 2 weeks to August 17th. And Washington Township has decided to move all of its classes online. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. A local community is hoping that sewer tests can help predict a COVID outbreak before it happens. And there have been disruptions in the supply chain because of an increased demand for essential supplies during the pandemic. Ahead, the steps a local trucking company is taking to help get things to consumers with fewer delays. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
The WTIU WFIU news team connects Indiana to the world. We bring you the top news of the day on radio, TV, and online. We round up the stories that have people talking each week and dig deep into the issues that affect your community the most. The WTIU WFIU news team is where you are and telling your story.
In a time of change, where can you find in-depth reporting and thoughtful analysis? Washington Week on PBS. Join moderator Robert Costa.
When I was at the Capitol this week, I encountered the same.
And a panel of award-winning journalists.
You're seeing a divided nation, and you're seeing.
For insights and perspective.
Tonight there was a key development in the Senate.
You won't find anywhere else.
What a week.
Washington Week.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Well, around the globe, medical professionals, researchers, and politicians are attempting to find anything that can predict where the next COVID-19 hotspot might emerge. New research married with techniques of the past is providing valuable data to a growing number of cities, including one right here in Indiana. Brock Turner has the story.
With this coronavirus having never before been seen in humans, getting reliable data quickly has been one of the greatest challenges, crippling the response. Researchers from Yale University first discovered a link between swelling infection rates with rising levels of coronavirus in municipal wastewater plants. Growing levels in samples correlated with rising infection rates.
We didn't know that we were able to capture that until, about halfway through the outbreak in our town. And then, I would think it was a pleasant surprise. I mean, certainly we had a hypothesis that it could track it, but I'm not sure how hopeful we were.
Carmel, a wealthy suburb just north of Indianapolis, is part of a growing collection of cities testing wastewater for coronavirus.
If we were to see a surge in the wastewater, first of all, we can alert the hospitals and they can plan for it. Secondly, we can take major measures if necessary to go backwards in our reopening plan. I hope that we don't have to do that, but if data indicates we need to, we would.
John Duffy is the director of utilities for the city of Carmel. He says small amounts of virus, along with numerous others, are found in wastewater. While the models used to analyze the results are difficult to precisely calculate, labs are zeroing in on the right approach. For decades, cities have been testing their wastewater for a number of diseases and substances. Carmel and many other cities employ chemists to help ensure the water being returned to the White River is cleaner than it was when it was taken. Duffy says testing is relatively inexpensive and easy for a facility to implement.
A lot of people think the same way. Everybody also understands that it's ever evolving, but if you don't, the virus is here now. It's time to start, to try.
Currently, Carmel is not experiencing an outbreak, but the city hopes to get a baseline of the virus to begin a deeper analysis. Experts say this type of testing is a leading indicator.
When you first get sick, you can shed the virus, and we'll see it in treatment plants. But most testing, or certainly prior to now, has been prompted by symptoms. And so that takes a delay 7-8 days. And so we're still running 7 or 8 days above in front of our testing data.
Eventually, Carmel hopes to test wastewater in specific areas, like large office buildings or nursing homes, to isolate where an outbreak is occurring. This could stem an outbreak before it begins and provide significant advantages over the current model of waiting for nasal swabs.
Being able to see exactly where in the city it is would be an extremely valuable tool. If it's coming out of one office building and that's where the surge is, then we have other tools we can use. We can go test everybody in that office building, identify who has it, quarantine them, do contact tracing to see who they were around.
Duffy says the samples are easy to collect and relatively inexpensive to process.
Certainly the intent is to get samples back as quickly as possible so you can start seeing data. Ideally, a couple weeks ahead of others even knowing they're infected.
City officials say lab capacity is the greatest challenge. The Boston-based lab Carmel was initially working with wasn't able to get results back quickly enough. Now, the city is working with labs at the University of Notre Dame and NASA. While this testing will surely continue to evolve, everyone agrees sampling these facilities doesn't replace aggressively testing sick people or contact tracing. Instead, it offers valuable lead time for decision makers desperate for data to inform their decisions. Quite simply, it could help protect the most vulnerable populations and even save lives. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brock Turner.
Well, a lot of retailers have been struggling to keep some items on the shelves as people have changed their habits and more spending time at home. There's a demand for more trucking capacity to help their grocers and other retailers restock their shelves. This week, Indiana-based Palmer Trucking announced plans to add 220 jobs in the next couple of years to meet the increased demand. The company said it will invest more than $17 million in the Indianapolis area for Kenworth commercial truck sales and to provide parts and services. It will also add a training center for diesel technicians.
The need for technicians and parts personnel and anything we can do to support those trucks on the road is where we'll see the majority of that growth.
Palmer plans to begin hiring in August and have the new location fully operational this fall. And Bloomington now has 3 farmers markets. There's the original one the city operates, the People's Market on the east side of town near Blooming Foods, and the latest one at the Woolery Mill on the west side. The alternative markets were started after the city refused to remove a vendor with alleged white supremacist ties from its market. The city said its hands were tied because any attempt to remove the vendor would be a constitutional violation. Well, tomorrow will be the 3rd day of the Woolery Market, and representatives of the People's Market want Woolery organizers to explain how they plan to work against racism and protect vulnerable communities. Benta Boutier reports.
A member of the People's Market Planning Committee, Kara Kadu, says the group wants to promote food justice, which means providing healthy, local food to everyone in the community regardless of race or class. Kadu says the open letter to the Woolery Market is meant to create a dialogue and offer help.
We're here to help, and we really would like the Woolery Market folks to create, to take up that conversation with us and really to think about the ways that they can implement these things, using some of the experiences that we have had over the past market season.
Susan Bright is the CFO of Nick's English Hut and Osteria Rego in Bloomington. Osteria had a booth at the Woolery Market last weekend and plans to have a booth at the market until the end of season in October. Bright wants the Woolery Market to make its intentions of community and safety clear, but many farmers are in the height of planting and summer harvest right now, so it may take a few weeks to issue a statement or respond to the letter. Bright doesn't think a delayed response should be a knock on the Woolery Market.
And I'm thankful for what they're putting out there. That's great. And if they can help support what the new market's trying to get going, it would be helpful. But them too, they're in the throes of their height of their market.
Mandy Corey is the owner of Satch Farms and is a vendor at both the People's Market and Woolery Market. She says in an emailed statement, "I believe if the Woolery Market is truly about food and community, as their mission states, they must publicly stand against racism and take active steps to combat food insecurity. I believe it's the responsibility of vendors to not only encourage these steps from the board, but to play a part in the solution." Leadership with the Woolery Market did not accept an invitation for interview by the date of this story's publication. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Benta Boutier.
A new crisis facility in Monroe County equipped to address drug abuse and alcohol issues faced by nonviolent people is being billed as the first of its kind in the state. The Stride Center is an alternative to jail or the emergency room. There was a virtual groundbreaking for the facility this week. It'll be staffed with 2 full-time therapists, a program manager, and peer support specialist. It'll have capacity for 25 people.
By treating mental health and substance use disorders as public health issues, we can reduce crime in Monroe County and more effectively and humanely support those in crisis.
The Stride Center can only take referrals from police and will officially begin accepting patients August 3rd. Well, a new group needs your help to keep invasive plants like Bell's honeysuckle and Oriental bittersweet out of the Great Lakes region. Like many invasive species, woody invasives push out native plants and damage wildlife habitats. They also tend to have deep roots and make a lot of seeds, making them especially hard to control near bodies of water like the Great Lakes.
Under a really dense canopy of buckthorn or honeysuckle, you can expect to find nothing, just bare dirt. So that can cause erosion problems.
More than 95% of the land in Indiana is privately owned, so Ryan says landowners need to be able to recognize these plants. The collaborative's website includes a list of native species that you can plant instead of things like the Callery pear tree, which despite a statewide ban on the invasive species trade, is still legal to sell in Indiana. Well, that's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. MALLOR GRODNER attorneys providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Alumni Association connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. Alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.